Ever since we, 27, had a baby, my wife had been talking like a baby herself. Rather than teaching the baby to talk like a person, it's as if my wife's language has become baby-like. She would make noises in between conversations, even when talking with adults. This is especially embarrassing when I am with her in public places when she talks like that to complete strangers. I have been telling nicely to her to not do that, but she would just laugh it off, totally oblivious to how people around us stare whenever she talks like a baby. I have to point out that she is not in the spectrum, just a crazy new mom, in fact too crazy sometimes. It was a day off for us when we have my parents babysitting the baby and we finally have some time by ourselves. We went out for dinner and she did it again, talking to the waiter, something like this. "Ippy, thanks. By the way, can you give us an extra plate for this?" Seeing how the waiter staring at her, as if she is some kind of mentally challenged. I rolled my eyes and told her. "I am taking a break today and don't need another baby who cannot even talk properly to look after. Please excuse me." Then I left the restaurant without her. I don't know what occurred to me, but I probably shouldn't have done that, but I guess it kinda just snapped. Am I the idiot? You're the idiot. I get that it's embarrassing, but think how your wife feels to be ditched in a public setting. The other thing is that you just assume she is purposely doing this. There are several different psychological and medical reasons that might be behind this. Get your wife the help she needs and deserves. Maybe don't go out to a restaurant, or if you do, don't ditch her. She most definitely needs your love, help, and support. The human body is absolutely incredible and complicated. If this just started, she probably has no idea what the hell is going on. Everyone's the idiot here. You know what you did by walking out wasn't cool. Your feelings are totally valid. And she shouldn't be doing the baby talk constantly. Since children mimic the language of their parents, using baby talk constantly even with newborns isn't good for the child's language development, and it isn't good for your wife mentally. As others have said, maybe suggest she get out of the house more alone or to be with other adults. Maybe she needs counseling or meds. But that baby talk has got to stop. Never abandon your wife like that. It's uncalled for. You are a team. You're the idiot. Your wife just had a baby. Repeating baby noises to a baby is as much part of the developmental process as talking to them in an adult voice. Instead of looking at this behavior as an alarm that something might be wrong with her, you are taking it as a personal offense. Your wife could have something as serious as postpartum depression, and instead of being concerned for her, you were annoyed enough about how it impacted you to abandon her in a restaurant. Way to leave a lasting impression on the woman who just had your child. If you don't act a certain way, I will leave. So this happened around a week ago. I had a last-minute job interview and no one to look after my son, 2 years old, so I phoned my sister to ask if she could take him. She was busy, but recommended a childminder, centimeters, that she uses, and luckily, or so I thought, she was happy to take him. I'd never met her before, but she was a registered centimeters and my sister used her, so I thought all would be fine. So I drop him off at her house with a lunch box and tell her that we're a vegan family and that he's got enough food in there for the whole day. Everything seemed fine. A bit of background, he's been vegan all his life, so had never had any animal products. Not even 20 minutes later I get a panicked call from the centimeters saying that my son looks very unwell and had thrown up and that I needed to pick him up immediately. I phoned the place where I'm interviewing and explained the situation and headed back to pick him up. Around 5 minutes later she phoned me back again saying that he's now got a rash all up his back. Freaking out even more, I tell her I'll be there as fast as I can. So I get there and he's now sobbing and had a rash all over his face. His older brother, who was at his dad's at the time, had a dairy allergy and all the symptoms matched. I asked the centimeters if he's eaten anything yet and she says no. I was kind of suspicious but believed her. We went straight to A&E where it was a confirmed allergic reaction. I phoned her up the centimeters and asked if she was sure she'd not given him anything, honestly not as nicely as I could have, to which she goes on a rant, saying kids shouldn't be vegan, it's bad for them, they need nutrients and calcium to grow, and you're depriving him of it. Long story short, she'd given him a glass of milk because she thought he needed the nutrients. The next day she sent me a money request for the payment we'd agreed on. I couldn't believe that she had the cheek to send it, but also was trying to charge me for the whole day when he'd been there maybe 40 minutes at most. Obviously, I refuse. I then post on a local Facebook group everything that happened, and now she's threatening to take me to small claims court. Can she even do this? I feel like I should be the one suing her. And has now told my sister until I pay and remove the post, she's no longer going to watch her kids either, so my sister gets mad at me too, saying that she needs the childcare and that I'm overreacting and apparently am a crazy vegan. Am I the idiot? Am I going crazy? I feel like I'm the only one who thinks that this is a big deal. Not the idiot. I'd be furious in your shoes. Sounds like you sent your kid with food, he wasn't starving, and you told her he was vegan. Even if her concern had been valid, it's reckless to give new foods to a child without consulting the parents for exactly the reason that led to you being an A&E. It was quite far out of her place. I'm not sure if you have medical bills where you live, but if you do, she should be paying the cost, since it was caused by her actions and disregard for your instructions, not suing you or demanding pay for work she didn't even do. Not the idiot. It doesn't matter what her beliefs are, she gave your child food he wasn't supposed to have. For all she knows, your child is a vegan not by choice, but because of their food allergies. I have a friend who is allergic to dairy, eggs, and certain spices, so they just generally follow a vegan diet because everything else causes an allergic reaction. She did something wrong and you are warning parents that she could potentially endanger their child. Not the idiot. Why would your sister want someone who purposely gave her nephew something she knew she shouldn't, made him violently ill, lied about it so doctors wouldn't know how to treat it quickly and safely, only came clean when child was in more medical distress and in need of immediate medical intervention in the hospital, and wants to be paid for doing this to him? And sue you? You're in the UK, so I'm guessing you didn't have a bill. In the United States, this could have easily cost you $5,000. She's lucky you aren't suing for endangering your child's life. I'm 23 and he's 24. We met through common friends at a house party and instantly hit it off. We haven't yet put any labels on it, but we've been dating for 3 months as the title says. Yesterday, which happened to be our 3-month anniversary apparently, I hadn't kept track of it as we're not boyfriend-girlfriend quite yet. He texted me saying he had something to show me and asked if he could come over, and I was like yeah, sure. He sounded really excited, so I was curious what he had planned. I thought maybe he had been accepted to the course he's applied for. But you all know that wasn't it. He shows up at my place, and I instantly spot the plastic on his arm, so obviously I ask what that is. He says he's gotten a tattoo to celebrate our 3-month anniversary, and I already felt uncomfortable there, but once he unwrapped it and showed me, it got way worse. In big bold letters, he's had my name, including my 2 middle names, tattooed with some red and pink roses around. It's maybe 20 to 7 centimeters large. I got so shocked that the first thing coming out of my mouth was "you freaking idiot," which I know was kinda rough. I just couldn't believe how he'd think that was a good idea. We could have been married for 10 years, and I would have thought it was stupid, but after 3 months. That's just crazy. He got really angry at me, calling me ungrateful, that he'd spent so much money on it to make me happy and show me how special I am to him. I told him that tattoo is just making him look like an obsessed weirdo. Once again, harsh I know. Then he called me a stupid idiot. He's never used that sort of language with me before and stormed out the door. He hasn't called or texted me once since yesterday, and neither have I. Not the idiot. Run. Do not walk. Do not stop. Do not pass go. Do not collect £200. 3 months. 3 months when you haven't put a name to it. And he tattoos your full name on him. I'm not sure I have the words to say how very much no this is. And then, as if this didn't say, run enough. He gets upset you are freaked out. He doesn't see why at all. No, oh, yes, okay, this is a bit stalkery. He gets upset with you. I mean, I'm trying not to think Kathy Bates in Misery, but I'm failing. So, I reiterate. Run, don't walk away. Not the idiot, you may have been a little harsh, but at the same time, you definitely needed to be blunt in that situation. That's an extremely drastic thing to do after only 3 months of knowing person. There are red flags flying everywhere on this one. The fact that he called you idiot afterward is 100% unacceptable. This is showing you that you're dealing with a person who is too spontaneous and way too hot-headed and unstable. I'd take this chance to get the hell out. He can pay for the tattoo, he can pay for the cover-up too. I have multiple tattoos, but I would never get a name tattooed on me. Myself and my husband have a couple's tattoo. We each have dust sprites from Spirited Away on our left wrist, but they are in different styles that match our personalities. I have one bigger one holding a heart, and he had 3 little ones. They mean more to us this way, and God forbid something should happen, I won't want to claw my one skin off. Run OP. Run far and fast. To cut a long story short, my neighbor has about 4 cars, husband, wife plus kids. I have lived inside this house for the past 18 years, they moved in about 3 or 4 years ago. At first, I had no issues letting them park in my parking spot because I had no car. I'm not an idiot, so I let them park their car there for years free of charge. A few months ago I had the wife approach me and ask me if she could take half of my front garden to build herself a porch. I said no. I live in the UK, so we don't have porch where you can just park your car, it's all street parking. After I turned down her request, she has stopped greeting me whenever she says me, fine, I don't care. I'd like to note at this point her family members were still using my parking spot. The day she approaches me and informs me that she will start building her driveway, taking up half of my property. I'd like to note that I don't own the house, I just rent it. The council owns the house. She tells me that the council has given her permission to take up half of my front garden to build her driveway, lol okay. I again informed her that I don't consent and that she cannot go ahead with her building plan. This kind of entitlement has enraged me, so I called up my brother who had a car and told him to come and park in my parking spot. He did. As soon as my brother parked his car, my neighbor the husband came out yelling at my brother, telling him to move his car. That was when I told him that he and his family members could no longer park on my spot. The whole driveway issues confuses me, and I will be calling the council later today to try and stop this crazy woman taking half of my garden. Not the idiot. Having dealt with council-owned properties before, it's highly unlikely they would have given her that permission. They will assume that at some point you will move out, and having half the garden given over to the private property next door would screw up their ability to rent out the property to the next tenant. If they have given her permission, then I would definitely look into your rental agreement. You may have grounds for compensation and to be moved to another property. Obviously depends on what's in your contract, but usually they are very protective of all land. Not the idiot. See, this is why I hate people. You do something nice, do them a favor and be nice about it, and they have to go ruin it with the entitlement and crappy attitude. If everyone was able to do each other small favors and be thankful, the world would be a much pleasant place for us all. But you have craps like this that can't be grateful and have to take advantage of people that are just willing to be nice. Screw them. You take back that parking space and you call the council. And keep us updated. Not the idiot. Our councils are pretty strict about these things and wouldn't give out permission just to build a porch that will invade another property's boundaries. On second thought, let them build it. They will be in a world of pain when the council sees it and force them to pay for removal, etc. This really winds me up because I used to have a driveway and dropped curb with yellow line markings, but idiots still parked and blocked my driveway so that they can use the nearby train station. I'm 25 and the boyfriend is 26. This summer I've had a tiny spider problem in the kitchen and I've made an appointment with an exterminator. Boyfriend is not on a lease, but he stays with me more often than not. I made a tentative request to him that he not kill the spiders he finds and instead put them outside. I gave him the option to just alert me to the spiders and he wouldn't have to deal with them, but he rolled his eyes and said he'd be a tree hugger to appease me. The thing is, every time he lets a spider outside, he makes the biggest deal out of it. He'll hover over them with a napkin like he's going to smash them and say, "Will I smash it? Will I smash it? I can't decide," and laugh. I told him that if it upsets him so much then just let me handle the spiders. But he insisted it didn't bother him, so I just dealt with it. This morning he did the whole routine before capturing a spider under a cup and a piece of paper. When he was about to put it outside, he paused and said, "I think it's enjoying the ride. I'll give it a good roller coaster." While laughing he began shaking the cup and paper really hard. It really upset me because I didn't force my beliefs on him. I gave him the option to let me handle the spiders and he refused. He was shaking it in the cup and it was making a gross audible sound that my sensibilities just can't handle. I begged him to stop and just give it to me, but he kept shaking the spider really hard. Finally, he got mad at my reaction and said fine, I'll put it out of its misery, dumped it out of the cup and smashed it in front of me. I was horrified. I can't handle seeing bugs or anything be killed. I know that it's stupid and inconvenient, but he did that knowing it makes me feel physically ill. I can't help it. I told him to leave my apartment. He kept calling me crazy and asking if I was really kicking him out over a killed bug. I said it was because he did it to upset me purposefully. He's making fun of me on social media, and all our friends are ridiculing me for overreacting. It seems like everyone is against me on this. I'm getting an exterminator, I just can't handle seeing them squashed. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. This is a lot less about whether or not spiders have feelings or should not be killed and a lot more to do with his reaction. He knew he was upsetting you with his behavior and he did it anyway. Worse, he made him purposefully upsetting you into a big show and then got mad when you reacted the way you told him you'd react from the beginning. It's not about a little bug at all. It's about a whole lot of a lack of respect and behavior that frankly seems to go beyond teasing. Not the idiot. That guy is monstrous and a sociopath. To give you a hard time like that every time he puts a bug out because he knows your caring is the height of cruelty, someone who loves you and respects you would never torment you like that, or a living thing, even a spider. You can do so much better. Find someone who loves and appreciates your kindness for all living things. You need to dump him and move on. Not only for messing with you every time he takes a spider out, but for making fun of you publicly on social media. Not the idiot. OP, please listen to the comments here. I know that often Reddit is accused of jumping to leave him too quickly, but on this occasion, they are absolutely right. As someone else said, this fully grown, adult man was not torturing the spider, he was torturing you. He knew what he did was upsetting to you, and not only continued to do it, he took it to whole new levels. I appreciate that it must hurt to see people mocking you on social media, but please don't let that pressure you into making the wrong decision here. This man has no respect for you, and you deserve better.